All right, there it goes. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. I am so excited. Today we have Katy Caldwell from Hustle Humbly. I'm so excited. I have to say, so I don't exactly remember how I came across the podcast, but it was a long time ago. And I remember.
All right, I'm going to leave.
Oh, who's leaving? Who's already leaving? Excuse me. Anyway, I can't remember exactly how I found the podcast, but I'm pretty sure I was just probably searching when I was a newer agent, and I found Hustle Humbly. And then I literally went back to the first episode and watched or listened to every single one. Like, that's how I spent my drives. That's what I did in my spare time. I'd like set my phone up and like listen to Hustle Humbly while I was like trying to figure out this business. And the podcast really, really helped, I think, with just understanding the business, understanding, things that are working in different markets than mine. So it's really interesting. I mean, you guys, things are a lot different in New Orleans. So, and your area. So it's super different to hear how things are so completely different in the real estate market. And your last one about I think it was 137 when you guys were talking about local and all that. I think it was really, really good. So I'm always telling everybody, like, go back, watch all the database ones, watch all the new agent ones. They're so good, or listen to them, I should say. But we are so excited. I reached out to you and I was like, please, please, please be on our mastermind, because you're amazing and you are like the systems queen. So Lee, will you give her co-host so she can make sure to share her screen too? 'Cause she's got some slides for us. But thank you so much, Katy. I am so beyond excited to have you on. Do you want to give a little bio on yourself, or a little bit of backstory?
Yeah, I actually have a slide with my bio. So I'll give you a little now, and then we can kind of catch it once we start doing slides. So Alyssa and I are in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana market. I have been selling real estate full-time for 16 years, and we started the podcast in August of 2019. So it's been almost 3 years, and we put out a podcast every Monday religiously. We have never missed a Monday. And I think we both have a heart for helping agents to grow and mentor, but there's only so many people you can mentor. And she was growing her young family. I have kids too. So it just made more sense for us to find a way to reach a lot of people at once. And it's been really fun. I don't think we had any idea how many people would listen, honestly. And we just like to talk. So we're just having friendly conversations with each other, just based on real estate topics. And I think we're both systemy, but in different ways. Like, I like my paper. I have very specific systems. She works literally off of her laptop and nothing else. Like, I have more things, but it's just interesting to see how she works different than I do. And we share both of those kind of ways. And it's been a lot of fun to just share that with agents and help people grow their business. And new agents, I mean, we have teams that use the podcast to train their teams. We have new agents who start listening before they get their license. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I have several mentees that I'm like, go back, listen to Hustle Humbly. If I come across an episode that I'm like, oh my gosh, this was amazing, you guys need to go listen to this one. It is really helpful. Like I said, I really do feel like listening to the podcast has helped me in my business. So thank you.
I'm so glad. That's awesome.
Well, go ahead and share your screen if you're ready.
Okay, let's see. I'm ready. Let me find it. Okay, friends, so let's do this. Everyone either loves a system or doesn't know what a system is, or hates a system but knows they need a system. So we're going to just get to it and cover systems for success. All right, let's see if I can move y'all around so I can move this. Okay. Okay, so I am Katy Caldwell. I got my license 16 years ago. It was the best professional decision I have ever made. I could have never anticipated, though, how fulfilling of a career it would be. Over the course of my career, I have found a true passion for building a business I love on the back of simple and effective systems. The truth is, I do not feel compelled to work 24/7. I do not need a whole team to make it through the day. Systems are my saving grace. getting to teach those systems and best practices to other agents through the podcast and through online courses has really been a gift. My love for learning has definitely made a transition into teaching, and I really love watching others benefit from the knowledge that I have. I am a wife to Jay, who is our podcast producer and always laughs at my jokes. Mom to 2 school-age kiddos. My kids are in 3rd and 6th. I love to style a bookshelf. That's my creative outlet. I am still a full-time agent, although am transitioning more into teaching and less into one-on-one sales. Podcaster, educator. I can't refuse a good sweet tea and a well-made mojito or a warm chocolate chip cookie, even though I'm trying not to eat gluten right now. So that's really tough. And if I get to do all that on a beach, I'm a happy girl. And you guys, if you have questions, I guess if you want to break in, Nicole, you can, or I'm a fast talker, so I'm going to get through all of this pretty quick. So there'll be lots of times for questions at the end, or if you want to break in and ask questions, I'm good with that too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay. I do have one question already though, and this has been something that I've been itching to know, and I don't know why I need to know this. Was Jay into doing podcast stuff before you got into the podcast stuff, or not really?
I mean, no, Jay now has been listening to podcasts since way before they were cool. Like, that dude has been listening to podcasts for probably 15 years. And so he knew what it was and what it was all about. And he is my tech support. He has always been my tech support. So once we got into it, we were paying a podcast producer in the beginning, the first 10 episodes, but it was like $100 an episode to get it edited. And he's like, I can do this. I can handle this. He watched a YouTube video. He started taking like little classes and he's like, I got it. And he's ever since. So episode 11 on has been all him. And he's the one who added like the funny clips at the beginning. That's him. He added that. And I just think it's funny that he wants to listen to me talk about real estate that much, because he has to listen to the whole episode. So now he knows enough information to be dangerous. Like, he thinks he can give real estate advice. And I'm like, oh, no, friend.
I love it. Thank you. I don't know why I needed to know that. I just felt like I was just curious.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So he likes it and it's working out great for us. I've been reading James Clear's Atomic Habits. I don't know if anyone has read it, but he will give you all the good quotes about systems. And this is one of my favorite. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And that is so true. Okay, so what are systems? I think it's funny in real estate. A lot of times we think that software or tools are systems, and having real estate systems does not mean you have a fancy CRM or some type of software or some specific tool. In fact, I would argue you don't really need a CRM. I mean, there are ways to get through your business without one. I do not use one. Shifting your mindset around what systems are, and then you can start to systematize almost anything and everything in your business. All we need to look at is, what do we actually do? So what do we do as agents? What are the 2 main things that you do in your real estate business?
Oh, we're asking? Are we asking? I'm like, oh no.
You don't have to answer. What do you do? Work with buyers, work with sellers. It's literally that simple. So now we're going to kind of talk about business structure. I think a lot of times we're like, oh, I do this and that, and I have this whole list of, yes, you have to-dos. But if we boil it all down, if you're in residential real estate, you either work with buyers or you work with sellers. It's quite simple. Okay, so business structure. I have been loving this business structure that I found on an Inman article pretty recently. And when you look at a business, there are 3 parts: attract, convert, and deliver. So we're going to talk about what each of those mean. To attract, how do you find prospects? What marketing or business practices do you use to attract leads? When you're converting, it's, where do these prospects develop a deeper connection with you? And how do they decide to work with you? And then delivering, how do you provide an experience for these clients that will lead to repeat and referral business? And if any of you guys have listened to the show, you know that that is the business model that Alyssa and I both use. Repeat and referral business is the safest business. It's the most fun business. It is the easiest business. And it is the business that will exponentially grow with you every year. So how do you deliver that experience that will lead you to that type of a business? So Attract would equal your marketing. What types of things are you doing to attract those clients? Social media, traditional marketing, maybe online leads or cold calling, door knocking, open houses, geo farming, building a database. Like these are all things that people do in their real estate business, amongst others, to build and attract the client. What is your conversion? So converting would be your database. You have to provide value, develop a relationship, be a resource, and be available, and ask for the business. So if you're not working your database, you're collecting up people in the attract part of your business, but you're not finding a way to convert them and build that relationship, nothing is going to happen. And we won't even get the opportunity to try and deliver. And then deliver, my favorite, your systems. So you need a buyer process, a seller process. Your business has to be set up correctly. Email templates are a very important system. Workflows, follow-up. How do you deliver that experience through your systems? Okay, so what order should you build your business in? Most agents will jump in and want to find clients. Obviously, how else are they going to make money? They are focused on attracting right away. But the truth is, you guys, you have to build the structure backwards. So you have to work on the deliver piece before you work on the attraction piece. So you must start with a solid foundation in your systems. Without your systems, you will not be able to deliver for your clients, which will prevent you from getting repeat referral business and leave you back at square one every time you close a deal. You know that feeling when you close a deal, and you're like, oh, who's next? Like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to find the people? So if you don't have your systems in place, you're going to have to relive that every single time. Okay, so systems are your foundation. And here's another good one from James Clear. Goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. Okay, here are some of the systems, the specific systems required for success in your business. A buyer, seller, intake. And these are the non-negotiable ones. These are the ones I would say you want to start with and you absolutely must have. A buyer, seller, intake. And what that means to me is I have a form that I actually use the same set of questions every single time I intake a buyer or a seller. That way you don't forget to ask something, you don't leave anything out, you get kind of all your bases covered. So you got to have a buyer one and a seller one. And I have written my seller one to be able to represent a buyer seller. So if during that call they say, okay, well, I'm buying, but I also need to sell, the questions kind of work for that on the seller intake. A buyer and a seller presentation folder. So whether you're doing a digital presentation or something on paper, I don't have my folder next to me, I use a real folder. I think holding something in my hand makes me feel more confident to be like, I am handing you this item of value. Here it is. Here's all the information. I've done that since the very beginning of my career. It just makes it easier to give them all the information they need and you don't forget anything. And again, it gives you that feeling of I am providing you with value. So having some type of a buyer and a seller presentation is key. A listing prep and workflow. So we're going to talk at the end of the presentation about I teach systems. Okay, so that's my number one thing. I teach systems. My listing system is from first call to listing appointment in under 30 minutes, and I time it frequently, and it takes me under 30 minutes to get from a phone call from a brand new lead to a listing appointment because my system is so regimented and repeatable, and I don't ever forget anything, and I know exactly what to ask them on the phone. Then I know exactly how to prepare their market report and get their tax data and get their seller net filled out. And I know exactly everything I need to do so that I could literally roll out the door in 30 minutes. And I do teach that in my course. You're also going to need a contract to close workflow. This is pretty common. I think everyone figures out after a while you need some type of workflow so you don't forget something. You don't forget to schedule your inspection, or you don't forget to send your repairs, or you don't forget to request a closing disclosure. Like you have to have a workflow. I'm ADHD. If I don't have this stuff written down, I am not going to remember to do it. So having it in checklist form, whether you keep that in Trello or some type of digital program, or if you keep it literally on a sheet of paper, I mean, mine is printed. You can check it off as you go. Database. You cannot get through this business without a database. It is one of the most important systems you will have, and it does not have to be fancy or expensive. We use a simple spreadsheet. It is just a matter of storing all of the people that you need to keep in contact with in one place. Safety procedure. This is huge. Most agents do not have a safety procedure. What are the steps that you're taking when you get a new client, whether they were referred to you or not? Although a referral makes me feel a little better because another person I know has vetted them. But what are you doing to make sure that you're safe, that you're going to these showings with someone who you know who they are, and you checked to make sure that you're not going to be in danger? Next, you need the email templates. This is the system I put in place probably at around year 8 to 10 that changed my business. Fully changed my business. Up until then, I was always a top producing agent. I would do probably between 30 to 40 transactions typically. I needed an assistant, especially when my kids were younger. There was just no way that I was going to get that done without an assistant to help me. And then after I put email templates in place, I am not exaggerating. The last assistant I had, when she left, I was like busy, like in the middle of summer busy season, and I just never replaced her. I just never felt the need. I never felt overwhelmed. And I really think those email templates were the difference in me going from feeling like I needed help to being like, I got this under control. And then the last one is business setup and tracking. Again, if you're not following your numbers, if you're not tracking your business, then you're going to keep spending money on things that aren't working. You're going to keep wasting time on things that aren't working. And you're not a real business if you don't know your numbers. So we kind of get thrown into being entrepreneurs and being solopreneurs most of the time. And we've got to wear all the hats. You got to market, and you got to do the accounting, and you got to do everything. Well, if you're not tracking your business, then how do you know what's working and what's not? And that's just not a real business. Okay, here are some systems that I also have that I don't think are required. They're nice to have. So these you want to do after you get your basics in place. Definitely start with your basic systems, and then you can move on. A closing gift item and wrapping. I know agents love their baskets. They want to go and get a specific house painting for their client, or all the little tchotchke that makes sense for their client. And I love that. And I think that's great. And if that makes you happy, continue to do it. But when you get busy and things start to move and you're dealing with, multiple transactions at a time, and maybe you don't have the time to go curate this perfect closing basket, find a go-to closing gift, whatever it is. Mine is a return address stamp. And yes, sometimes depending on the situation, I also do a picture of the house. Or sometimes depending on the situation, a seller doesn't get a gift at all. I think we end up feeling the pressure of seeing other agents have a certain process and then feeling like we need to put that in place in our business as well, or that's just the way it's supposed to be. I have a return address stamp. It costs $20. I keep the actual bags and the tissue paper that are brand colors in my closet, in my office, with like a stack of these stamps. And when it's time to go to closing, I stuff it and I go. And there's no thinking about it. So a system in your business is really just to eliminate the time it takes for you to think about what you're going to do and then implement it. It's just already there. So that one is kind of fun to have and just get it off your plate. A postcard series for farming. So if you're going to farm, if you want to send snail mail, having that postcard series already figured out is really helpful. And just having it set up in Canva to where all you have to do is pop in the house photos for this house. It's the same thing with like your listing flyer. You do not need to recreate the flyer every time. Have your go-to flyer in your brand colors, and all you do is go in and pop in the pictures when you have a new listing. It just will save so much time. Friday shutdown routine. This is how I get ready for the weekend, especially if I have appointments over the weekend. And by doing this, I try to keep myself out of the office during the weekend, which means like I'm setting up for an open house. I get everything printed and all of my stuff packed up and ready to go. Or if I'm doing showings on Saturday, I get all the buyer folder and their MLS sheets ready, and I get it all prepared so that on the weekend, the only time I come back into my office is if I have to write an offer. I do not come back into my office for tasks that can be put off until a business day. So having that Friday shutdown routine, and I also check on all my transactions on Friday and make sure that everything is squared away and no one's waiting on anything. Getting all that wrapped up is about the only way that I found to successfully take a weekend day off. And I usually would try to take Saturday or Sunday, depending on what day I had appointments scheduled. So if I was doing an open house Sunday, then I would schedule nothing on Saturday and try to take that off. and vice versa. So some weekends, of course, that didn't work out, but that was the method that I was typically using. Okay, office day time blocks. Know what you're doing on your office day. Like, are you spending 2 hours contacting your database? Are you doing your social media strategy? Like, what are the things that you're going to do during your office day, and have that system set up so that you're not like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going to throw on some Netflix in the background and do some laundry. And I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. If you know what you have to accomplish during your office day, it will be much more productive. Trello is a great system to have for your pipeline management. There is actually a free video that Alyssa did on how she set up for Trello. It's a 20-minute video. If you Google Hustle Humbly Trello, it will pop up in YouTube. It is so very helpful, and Trello is a free resource. So there is no reason not to set it up. And Alyssa, better than I, is so efficient. When you listen to how she makes it through 95 transactions a year consistently, and with children and like a book club, like she lives a life. She doesn't just work all the time. It's when you go watch her do things like Trello and you're like, there's no fluff. There's just no fluff. It's like, these are the people I talked to at the party. They go on this, board. I'll check in with them every other month or whatever. Here are the people who are under contract. Here are the listings. So that video is very helpful. And if you want to set up some kind of pipeline management, Trello is great. An approved vendor list. This is really nice to have. It's one of the things that my clients appreciate the most, and it's a great way for you to partner with other businesses in your area. So getting that vendor list put together is a wonderful system and something you can share with your clients. And last is a car kit. So I have a car kit, has a checklist. I know what's in it. I keep this in my car all the time to prevent me from having to go back to houses over and over again. Like, I always have a tape measure. I always have a lockbox. I always have, all manner of things. Honestly, I've got a picture hanger kit. I've got, anything you might need while you're at a house, I try to keep in my car so that I don't have to make multiple trips. And things like that are systems that will keep you from spending a lot of time like running around. Okay, what is the enemy though of your systems? We've all heard it, the shiny things, right? Realtors love a shiny thing. New software, online leads, a new marketing tactic, new social media platform, a new broker, new opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's constantly bombarding you, right? I mean, like, if you don't see it on social media, you might just have people literally calling you, hey, we're doing Google ads and this and that. Like, they don't leave you alone. So the shiny things are everywhere, and you can certainly be susceptible to that. So if you haven't set your foundation and systems yet, you have to be solely focused on getting that stuff done before you then branch out into something that maybe caught your eye and sounded like a good idea for your business. And I wanted to share a case study with you guys on an agent in my market. So probably a year into the podcast, I was talking with an agent in my market. We had done a transaction together before. We were not friends. She'd been listening to the show, and she said, I just am like so burned out, and I just spent Saturday, I met with 4 different buyers, and Sunday I met with 2 different buyers. And, I just like, I don't know if I can keep up. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk it out. She had been in the business 3 years, and she wasn't from our area. So when she started her business, she did what made sense to her and totally makes sense to lots of people. She bought Zillow leads. Okay. She's like, I don't know people here. I got to get clients somehow. So she was paying $9,000 a month for Zillow leads. Now, she was closing 50 transactions a year, which is a lot in our market, especially. So she was doing rather well. But when you started breaking down the numbers, I'm like, okay, well, let's talk this through. The reason why you're spending 4 different appointments on Saturday and 2 on Sunday is because that's the nature of a Zillow lead. They need to see you right away, or they're just going to click the next box and then you're gone. So she was having to run out and do these showings. She was having to sell 30 houses to pay for her Zillow. So truly, she was only doing 20 transactions that were ending up in her pocket. That $9,000, it took her 30 transactions to cover that marketing expense. And then she had 20 transactions. I'm like, well, are you working your database? She's like, well, no, I'm not from here. And I'm like, but you've now done 3 years of 50 transactions. That's over 100 people that you have sold homes to. That is your database. If you want to start working them, and they've had an experience with you, so hopefully it was a good one. If you start working them and you can back away from this $9,000, then you don't have to do 50 transactions. You could do 25 and be doing better financially than you were doing at 50. So taking a look at your business is key. And the other thing, she was meeting these people with no safety procedure. She knew only their name sometimes only a first name. She had no intake form. She had no buyer folder. So there was no consult part of that meetup. So she would meet them, show them the house. If they didn't develop rapport in that 15 minutes, they're out, she's on to the next one. So we're having to cycle through a lot of buyers. So she took the course and she implemented an intake form and she implemented some safety procedures and she implemented a buyer packet. So I need to check on her now and see how her numbers are going. But safety is the biggest thing. I mean, she could have been seriously injured, killed, kidnapped. I mean, like, this is not safe. So no systems has a huge cost to you, and it could be like literally your life. So I think it's important that we focus on that as part of why you need the systems. Okay, one of our favorite quotes from the show: you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And that definitely applies when those shiny things start popping at you. Just remember, yes, you can do anything. You're fully capable, but you cannot do everything. So you have to make choices. Okay, so what's the good news? Most systems only need to be set up once. I know this sounds overwhelming, or like that's a lot to do, but once you get it done, it's a one-time thing. With your foundation of systems set, now you can start to focus on attracting business and prospects and trying out new tactics for business growth. Just get that foundation set, and then you can build on top of it. Okay, so if you are not sure where to start and you're like, I want all of these things, these are all of the things that I teach in Agent Systems 101. So this is my course. Nicole has done it, so she knows what it's about. You can find the information about the course at agentsystems101.com. The doors to the course actually closed last week, but I told Nicole, for you guys, I will open them back up today and maybe just for like 2 days. Because today is our first week of class. So, and it's go at your own pace. So you haven't missed anything. Our first live is actually tomorrow. So if anyone wants to jump in, then you can certainly do that. And I'm happy to answer questions about the course specifically. And then here's where you guys can find me. So if you want to listen to the podcast, every single episode is on all your podcast device apps. And then Hustle Humbly Podcast or Katy K. Caldwell are my social media. And 2 weeks ago, I started a 14-day TikTok challenge. Y'all, I had to do 7 TikToks a day, 7. And that's under Hustle Humbly Hacks. So I have lots of little bite-sized tips in that TikTok account. After 2 weeks, I've got 7 times 2 weeks. It's a lot of them. And then you've got my email here if anyone ever wants to ask a question or thinks of something later. You got my email and we're good. Okay, Nicole, that's it. I told you I was a fast talker.
Oh my God, you did that in 30 minutes. Whew.
Right. Speed talker.
I just want to say the systems, the system course is amazing. And so is the email templates. I mean, I know several people on this call have the email templates already, but it's really incredible. I mean, you guys really put everything together. I mean, the systems course alone, it's a lot. You have a lot of stuff in there, but it is incredible what you guys have put together to, share with everybody. The email templates, I mean, it just goes on. And I'm still getting your updates, which I love that you will update them. And, you get like lifetime, membership to it.
Well, as the market changes, sometimes we have, or as those templates are all built on the back of my 16 years and Alyssa's 10 years. So every time another situation happens, wording is added to that template so that never happens again. So most of real estate is learn on the job, right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen until it happens. But once it happens, I'm like, how can I keep this from not happening again? And so that's every time they get updated. Now, we don't update them like constantly, but when we update, then and you get it. But yeah. And when the market shifts, we've had to change the wording for buyers and, inventory and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I've taken your templates, what's great about your templates, I think, is that they are like the base, like you have like, and then you can do whatever you want to it. So like I've taken yours, and to be honest, I don't even remember what they looked like because I've changed them so much to modify to like specific things, like, depending on the property, a lot of it, it's not that a lot of them had to be customized. So that's the best thing, I think, is you have this great base and then you can build off that, which is, I think, what everybody needs.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, especially big companies and CRMs, promise agents that they're going to automate everything. And the truth of the matter is every transaction is so different that, just like you said, you have to edit that template per the client, per the transaction. There is no system that exists that can get you through a transaction without you having to answer a specific question to that person, or do, like, it doesn't make sense to me for someone to say, oh yeah, this CRM is going to solve all your problems and we're going to be able to send all the emails your client needs and they're never going to need you. Well, every transaction is different. And I think the base, like you're saying, the base is what's key. So what do you have as the base? And then you can adjust per transaction. And that really is your job, to be there and be available to your clients.
Right. Yes, totally. Okay. So I know that there's going to be people who have questions. So if you have a question, can you just raise your hand or type it in the chat? Raise your hand so then we don't have people talking over each other. Questions about, well, and also thank you so much for opening up the systems, because I mean, when I was listening to the podcast the other day, I went, oh no, they closed the doors. What are we going to do?
The doors are closed. I know. And the reason why I only do them once a quarter. So this is my second quarter technically. And then I don't do it again until August. So it's a big break because my kids are home during the summer. And so I don't want to do it then. So I'm happy to do it for you now so that you guys don't have to wait until August. And we're on week 1. So nobody's missed anything.
Stephanie wants to know what the cost is for the systems class.
Okay, so if you happen to already own Hustle Humbly templates, then there is a discount and the course is $347. If you do not own the templates, then the full price of the course is $447. There is a bundle. If you decide you want to buy both, you can get that $100 discount at the time of purchase. So you can purchase both together. And this is literally my entire business. There's nothing left out of this. It's how I work with buyers, work with sellers, set up my business. I tell you how to do CMAs, how to, like, literally everything I do is in there. The only thing that is not in this course is how to get the business. So we do not focus on lead gen or database work. It is the logistical. How do I run a business? How do I represent buyers and sellers? What exactly do I do? And what I have learned is that, especially with new agents, having that information and knowing your path increases your confidence so much that then it's easy for you to convert. When you meet a lead, you feel this sense of confidence. I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what to do from point A to point B. And I don't feel like I'm kind of flailing and guessing and trying to figure it out along the way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, when you're brand new, or even, I'm only going into my 4th year and I'm still struggling with getting everything in order, and it is hard. And I think when you have all that stuff up front and you're like, okay, this is how I do this, it makes life a lot easier. And like you said, a lot of people get like squirrel. I'm a squirrel. Like, I will tell you, I'm a squirrel. And when I see something shiny or something like different or new, I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, I want this. But it's really having the base of your business. And I don't think that a lot of people realize, or even consider the fact that this is a business. You are building a business. This is, we're not just selling houses for fun. Like, this is a business and we have to treat it like a business. And, when you have something like this, it is an investment into your business and into your success.
And I find that it is what I thought my broker was going to tell me. Like, I thought I was going to go and get my license. And then my broker was going to be like, do this and tell me all the steps. And then I was like, oh crap. Like, they don't tell you that at all. Like, the only way I learned was on the job and following literally I got in my broker's car and I followed her around, but she didn't tell me what the steps are. How do you make a like none of that. So right. I feel like I want to fill that gap for agents that are like, I don't want to learn on the job. I don't have 3 years to figure this out. Like, I need to know now what's the way. How can I, and look, there are a million ways to run your real estate business. My way isn't the only way. It's just the way that worked for me. And then it took me years to build. And now I'm like, here, I can hand it to you on like a silver platter. This is how it worked. And then if you like it, you use it. If you can take parts of it, it's just funny to me that you get out of real estate school and you're like, they didn't tell me how to sell real estate.
They didn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
You learned about what are they, meets and bounds, but you don't learn about how to write a contract or anything like that. Okay, so we got some questions for you. All right, so Julie has a couple. Julie, do you just want to go off mute and ask your questions?
Absolutely. Thanks, Katie. This is, you're right. We do it backwards, right? We try to get all the business and then we go, oh no. And then you let things slip through the cracks and you go chase the new stuff because you didn't do what you're supposed to do on the end. So totally called to the carpet on that. Wondering about the course. You mentioned a Zoom tomorrow. So is there live training along with everything you provide? Because you said it was self-paced. So I was just curious, like what that looks like.
Yeah, so it is self-paced. The program is 6 weeks. It comes out, I drip it. So you get one module per week because it's just too much and overwhelming to do it all at once. So like week 1 right now we're on buyers. Next week, then there's 2 weeks of sellers, and then we'll do 2 weeks of business. And then there's a week of Trello. So it comes out once per week, and I'm in the group, in the Facebook group for support for the 6 weeks. After the 6 weeks, I am gone, but you still have the material. If you didn't finish, you can continue. Every module is 2 lessons for 20 minutes or less. So it is not a huge time commitment. And then on Wednesdays during the 6 weeks, I'm in the Facebook group live on Wednesdays. So for about an hour, I will literally show you some extra visual aid, but it's nothing that you didn't learn. So you can get through the whole course without the live, but if you want to come and ask specific questions or just see my samples, then that's kind of what the live is for.
Okay. And I assume if we go to that website that you said, agentsystem101.com, it will explain the pricing. I know you mentioned a bundle.
Oh yeah, it's got it all on there, and it explains what you're going to get too. So it'll get you covered. And at the bottom of that page, if you're still having questions, there's an email me button. You just hit the button and ask me your questions.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I typed it in the chat, but I spelled it wrong. Ignore that, everyone.
Systems.
These nails, man, they get in the way. I can't type anything.
The studio, yeah.
Hey, Katie, I have a question for you. What advice would you give to a newer agent that's starting out that really doesn't have, they really don't have that following and they're just getting started? So what advice would you give them?
So much. I've talked about it for like literally 3 years on the podcast, but in fact, there are a couple of episodes of the podcast that are what we wished we knew before starting and like what to do when you're new. But you have to find a mentor, and ideally a mentor that's in your market, because every market is different and it's really tough to learn the nuance of your market from someone not in your market. So I think that finding a mentor and shadowing someone is how I succeeded. Like I literally got in my broker's car. There were 5 agents in my office. I started at a big franchise. It did not work out. 3 months in, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it in real estate. And I had a friend who said, look, come to my office. It's 5 people. The broker is great. She'll train you. She put me in her car and I went to closings and I went to inspections and I went to listings. I just followed her around. And I know that's daunting and a little bit hard sometimes as a new agent to find that person. But go to your broker and say, hey, who's busy in the office? Who needs help? I'll go do a termite inspection for free, or I'll go do showings for free. Like I need a good 6 months of shadowing so that I know what the heck is happening. And your broker will know, will be like, okay, well, look, Susie she's killing it. She probably could use the help. She's got a heart for a new agent, go follow her. I mean, you have to make it mutually beneficial though. Like you can't just be like, teach me. I need to know. Well, if you tell them, hey, what can I do for you? Can I run and grab the closing gift? Can I basically be your free assistant for 6 months? That learn on the job is worth it for you not to get paid to do that. And if it's a producing agent and they see you working like that, they're going to throw you leads. They're going to say, true. Well, I don't want to, like, you're doing great and you're always here and you're available and you obviously want to work. Y'all don't understand. New agents underestimate that your broker and other agents pick up on if you want to work. Not everyone does not want to work. So if you want to work, you can succeed. It's just, you got to put yourself out there.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yep.
You know what? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Lee. I was just going to go to a
Yeah, I was
question.
just saying, so, like, we do a lot of that, like tomorrow, Nicole is doing, you're doing is it an inspection? You're
No,
gonna bring a bunch of
we're doing mock showings.
mock
we're
showings, so,
I
yeah, so,
scheduled like 5 showings to go and take a bunch of the newer agents to like point out things and like show them what I do when I'm on a showing, you know, the educational part of it that you again don't learn it just through following, you know, the inspectors around and things that you got burned in the past on, you know, those things that I don't want the other agents to have that problem.
Yeah.
so if you're a newer agent, take advantage of it, you know?
Yeah. I think it's true. And same thing with, you know, like she was just saying, like, if you're, you know, do an open house, like offer to do an open house, you know, you don't have to be compensated. You're getting leads, you know, potential leads. You just have to figure out how to follow up with them. And, you know, they should be able to help you with that as well. Okay. Anna Maria had a quick question. Oh, I want to go up Kate too. So Kate said, thank you for the great list of systems. Are there any templates or systems available to share or purchase? So yes, well, Katie, I guess you could answer that, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can, so the email templates, if you're not ready for agent systems right now and you want the email templates, if you have, and that's only if you have current clients, because it's really communication from just before contract through closing. So if you don't have clients, you don't need templates yet. If you are feeling maybe like you need some confidence boost and you don't know what to do, then you need agent systems. But if you have clients and you're like, I don't need systems, then emailtemplates101.com is where you can get just the email templates. And it literally goes through buyer and seller transactions from just before contract all the way through closing. And then in my systems, like I said, you're going to get everything. You'll get my Trello template. You'll get all the templates of like the documents that are in my buyer seller folders. You're going to get all of my business budget template, the business plan template. Like it's all, there is nothing that I will teach you that I won't also give you. So you have it all. You just have to customize it to yourself. And some of it, you don't even have to customize at all. You just use it.
Yeah. And the other thing too, what did you just say that just made me think about it? I don't know. We'll come back to it. Somebody was saying, can you repeat the email address? I don't know what that was.
I'll put it on. I got it. I'll do it.
Okay. Anna Maria asked, they already have email templates. They can purchase the system for $347, correct?
That's right. And Anna Maria, you would have gotten an email with a special link. So I'm putting my email address in here. Email me first, because if you just go to the website, you're not going to get the 100 off. So you're going to have to email me and I'll make sure you have the right link.
Okay, cool. I wish I could remember what my question was or what I was going to say, but either way. Okay, who else? Does anybody else have questions? I think we've gotten through all the questions in the chat so far. One thing I wanted to say too is, you know, one of the things on the Hustle Humbly podcast Instagram back in July, because I had messaged you about this and you're like, go check this one thing. You guys wrote out like all the great new agent podcasts to listen to, like number 26, number 9, number 17. It was amazing. I mean, they're so good. I have told many of my mentees like, hey, this is your homework. Go listen to all of these episodes because they are so good. So, and you know, the systems course is amazing. I feel like what I was going to say had something to do with the systems course, but now I can't remember. I know what I was going to say about the email template course. So it's not only just the templates, but you actually have videos that tell you how to use the templates too. So it's not just like, here's a bunch of templates, good luck. You actually walk through and have, you know, education about how to use them.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have a free resource. So if anyone hasn't started their database or needs to revamp their database, I'm going to put the web address in here, but you can go get now granted, it is not fancy. You can get the spreadsheet template for your database. And when you get it, it will email you kind of how we utilize it. But building your database should be right next to your systems, like the foundation of your business. So yeah, if you need the database, I'll stick that in there and you guys can. The
Trello board is amazing too. I have the template and it's so good. I've actually, I know we've talked about it in our team stuff about setting up Trello to keep track of, and essentially, it's from the phone, like on the phone with these people, like what questions you're asking to get all of the info. And it is so incredibly helpful, because I can't tell you how many times I haven't used it and I'm like, shoot, I forgot to ask that one question.
Yeah.
So it is really, really helpful to have. So, I mean, I appreciate the fact that you guys have all this stuff and you share it, it is great and helpful. So thank
Yeah, I
you.
mean, there's anything that we know you can learn in the podcast. It's just that now that we're up to like 140 episodes, it takes a little bit of digging to find. So like you said in that post, and actually we're revamping our website to where you'll be able to go and see lists that are like, if you want to learn about this or that or whatever, here are the episodes, because it's hard to wade through it now that we're so far in. But yeah, there are those lists on Instagram.
Hey, Nicole, we have a ways to go. I think we just hit our like 40th episode of Modern Agent Blueprint.
Oh, really? I haven't even been keeping track. We should probably keep track of these things. I have no idea. We're just doing it. We're winging it. I like
fun.
We're having good people
So
on.
fun.
We got Katy here. Somebody messaged me and they were like, how did you get Katy? And I said, I asked.
Yeah.
I asked, we chatted about
But
it.
to your credit, I did say, tell me more about this group. Like, what's it for? I need more info, because, time is precious. You just never, and I feel like your core beliefs there and the reason why you had built it was why I was like, yes, I will totally do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean, we really wanted to have a good, safe place for agents to come and, not get verbally abused when they have.
Yeah, they need it. Those Facebook groups are out of hand.
They're terrible. And I just got so sick of seeing new agents ask questions and just be like 47 messages deep about why they're idiots and they're never going to make it in this business. And I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. So,
Yeah.
and I wanted to provide value. And I really think that, I hope that everyone feels like that's what these groups are. They're not wasting an hour of their life. They're coming on and they're learning something and able to take away something or implement something into their business. So
Yeah,
thank you for choosing us.
for sure. I'm happy to be here.
We appreciate it. All right. Well, we got about 10 minutes left. Does anybody have any other questions for Miss Katy?
Do you want me to tell you a funny story?
Yes.
Okay. So secret. Well, I won't even tell you who it is, but we have our first celebrity on the podcast next week. Okay. Like CD list. And we're not talking about like Gary Vee or anybody. But he has a podcast and he had interviewed Josh Flagg, $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. And he tells us during our interview that he's like, I don't even know if I can release the podcast. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, the purpose of our podcast is to help people, like give them tips or like give them some like background or like, something that would help them in their business. And when I asked Josh, well, what would you tell a new agent like getting started? What would be some advice for a new agent like about getting into the business? And his advice was, don't.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't get into the business. And I'm like, well, he's like, yeah. And then, so he's like, well, tell me more. Like, why shouldn't they get into the business? They're like, he said, they would never be me. I know every house, every person that lives in every house in my market, every story of every house. And he goes on and on about all the stuff he knows. And the funny thing to me was all that proved was that he wasn't special. Anyone can learn information. Like, it wasn't like he said, I'm an amazing XYZ personality trait. He said he knew information. That was why he was good and you wouldn't be. And I'm like, well, anyone can find information. It's not like rocket science, but it also proves the point. You can't be a market expert without getting like into your market and learning the information. When you're out on, talking to your neighbors and they're like, oh, how much is that house listed for? You sure as shit better know how much it's listed for. Like, if you don't know, they're going to stop asking you and stop thinking of you as an expert and a realtor. And that's kind of the key that people forget. You're not going to have to sell yourself. You're just going to have to say, I'm a realtor a couple of times, and people will start asking you those questions. Like, oh, how's the market here? What about condos? Or tell me. They're going to come and ask you for free advice anyway. So all you have to do is know the information.
Right. That ego is ugly too, though.
That's
like
fun.
having that ego is ugly.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I love about this group is there's not really any ego. We're all here just trying to provide value. It's not.
Right.
Funny story, Katie. I emailed Josh to have him on to try to get him as a guest, and his response was, I think it was his assistant or one of his assistants wanted to charge $5,000. So I was like, thanks, but no thanks. We'll pass.
Wow. Well, we've learned a lot about Josh Flagg today.
Yes.
Oh man. All right, Katie. Well, thank you so much. You guys, if you want to get the systems or the email course, where do they get the email templates? Is it?
I put it in the comments. So that one is email templates with an S 101.com. Email templates 101.com, and it will tell you all the information, and it has a sample there as well. So if you need to read a sample, or I don't understand what this is, it's all there. And then agent system is agentsystems101.com.
Yes. And then go listen to all of the podcasts. Just start at the beginning and work your way through, or work frontwards to backwards, whatever way you want to do. Because I tell you what, it will help you in your business in some way, shape, or form.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I was just so happy to do it. So I hope it was helpful for everybody.
That was awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Before we leave, Nicole, tell everyone about the event coming up in April.
Oh, yeah. So Julie, myself, and Jen's here. She just has her camera off. We are doing an event April 28th here in Michigan. She's here now. Okay. It is a women-led, but not women exclusive, although I don't know if you guys would love all the stuff we're going to be talking about. However, it's called Level Up, and it is a women in real estate and entrepreneur collaborative. And we have an amazing lineup. We're going to be talking about, you guys are going to get sick of hearing about this, but we're so excited that we just have to tell everybody. So we're going to have Jen talking about mindset. These are all things too, you guys, that will translate into your business. So mindset with Jen, she's going to be talking about mastering your mindset. Julia Brenner is going to be talking about manifesting your dream life. And she's got an amazing offer at the end that we just talked about yesterday with Jen, and we are so excited about it. We have Kendra, who is a wardrobe stylist, who's going to be coming and talking about finding your signature style. Then we have Jamie Vanderwinkle from Her Brand Photo, who's going to be talking about kind of ditching that professional image where you have to have like your headshot and you have to do like the, shoulder thing. So we're going to get rid of that, and how to be authentic in your social media marketing, in your branding photos, which also will translate into people know, like, and trusting you. I'm going to be talking about social media with Nikki Wolf. We're going to be talking about how to translate all of this stuff into social media. And then Julie is going to be talking with Elizabeth Riley about designing your ideal business. So we are so excited. Tickets are $22. You can get them on Eventbrite or on any of our Instagram, Facebooks. We're pushing this out all over. So we hope to see a whole lot of people there. We're trying to get 250 people there. So help us out. That's it. Now I can't breathe. I'm gonna take a breath. I don't talk as fast as you do, Katie.
Plus there's going to be food. There's going to be breakfast, people.
Yes, we have breakfast there. We've got some pastries and coffees and whatnot.
We have a DJ.
And they're going to be raffling away. Tell them about that raffle, Nicole.
Oh yeah, hold on. Somebody's saying, where's it going to be? We are having it at Andiamo in Warren, Michigan, which is kind of on the east side of Michigan, southeastern Michigan. We do have some people coming from out of state, which I am so excited about. It means we're providing enough value that people are willing to drive or fly up. So that's amazing. And then the first 50 people are entered in. The first 50 people who buy a ticket are entered in to win a branding package from Amanda at the Launch Hive. So if you're interested in potentially doing a little bit of rebranding, we're going to be raffling something off here. And we are not quite up to 50 tickets yet, so there is still time. What else you got, Lee?
That's it. But I just want to go back and once again, thank Katie. Thank you so much. Very valuable information. And really, it's a lot of times, I mean, we get this, like I get calls from agents all the time and that they need direction. They need, and it's really the sphere of influence, and building your referral network has always been the main foundation to really explode your business long-term. And everyone loses sight of that. Everyone totally loses sight of that. And it's really the foundation, and that's what will change your life in the long term.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you again, Katy, and tune into her podcast. If you want to get any of her email templates or the systems, you can go to their website. All right, guys. Thank you. Have an awesome
Thank
day.
you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having
We
me.
appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye, guys.